All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my beautiful people. Thank you guys for tuning back in. We are actually about like approximately 1 week from the drop of The Fall Off by J. Cole. It dropped on the 6th of February, and right now, as of the filming of this video, it's the 11th. So I've lived with the album about 5 days, and I want to say that it is one of the most anticipated albums, not only of the year, but of one of the favorite rappers that we have of our generations. The top three, as many of you guys know, is J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. Not in that specific order, but those are the top three whenever people reference anybody who is prominent within the rap scene for the generation that we are living through. And I think it's pretty evident that he put his heart and soul into this, and the essence of the album is really centered around his hometown, which is Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is commonly referred to as the Ville, Dreamville, whatever you want to call it. And I thought it was a very, very good send off. And he just recently had an AMA, Ask Me Anything, with the fans, and they ended up asking him like, hey, on the roadmap that you had, which I discussed already multiple times in this channel, it's basically referencing that he did a roadmap back in the day, and it was when he was dropping all the features that he did, which was like when he won the Grammy with 21 Savage. That was when he was doing a bunch of features, going on everybody's feature list, and he was killing the game, And then next thing you know, he dropped Revenge of the Dreamers 3, which was a documentary about like a 10-15 day excursion where everybody was invited. It was like an open studio with producers, mixings, engineerings, whatever you want to call it, rappers, singers. It was all over the place, and they had a bunch of songs that they actually had cooked up. They ended up making some of those released on a tape, which was Revenge of the Dreamers 3, a continuation of a mixtape that he had a long time ago. And with that, he ended up dropping the off season, which was a thing that he wanted to test the waters with when it comes to like his pen. So I thought it was very good, and I think the off season is probably more concise in my opinion than what this album is when it comes to like storytelling. However, this one is more so, like he stated, his best work, and I think it really does pen into what, no pun intended, but it really does pen into J. Cole's actual wordplay and schematics when it comes to his songs. He did really good when it comes to the 24 tracks. I would say that he did very good. There's only a few songs that maybe I may not have liked his singing or the ideas that may have came from whatever he was doing, but nonetheless, it was a great album. I think it was a proper send-off. And like I mentioned earlier with the AMA, they asked him about the It's a Boy, which was an album that he was supposed to do before he dropped The Fall Off. However, we got the Birthday Blizzard, which was on January 28th. He dropped the little thing with DJ Clue, and he said in that AMA, they asked him, are you ever going to drop it? He said, yes, I have intentions to drop it. However, he felt that if he was to drop it right before the album, it was going to be too much. I agree. I think 24 tracks, the runtime of the album is an hour 41. It's already a pretty long album, I'm not going to lie. 2 hours is already kind of stretching it. And on top of that, the 24 or the Blizzard pack, which was released on 2026, it was about 4 tracks, and I would say it runs about like 15 minutes, a little short, 10-15 minute. It's concise, but however, if you were to play both of those back to back, it is 2 hours. So I do understand if he was to drop like another, let's say 6 songs, 10 songs, if it runs anywhere from like 18 to 40 minutes, that is already a long time for people to be engaged, and for it not to sound like repetitive. The schemes may have already sound like drowned out by people. It's crazy, So eventually he will drop it. Who's to say when? I have no idea. However, I will say that the project is debuting at number 1 so far as of the filming of this video, and it is currently the second biggest debut in Spotify in 2026, which is around 35-40 million behind ASAP Rocky's Don't Be Dumb, which is something I reviewed on the channel. Very, very good discs, and this one just comes across very well. I think him trying to channel back into like him in the headspace of being 29 at the age that he is. He just turned, I believe, 41 on January 28th. So we're talking about like 10-12 years from him actually going back to that time frame of mind, and it was really good. I honestly think there's a lot of catchy songs. I think J. Cole's delivering it almost as though he was hungry, like it's like if the rent is due for him, and it's honestly very, very good. I'm very proud of what he did, and I think one of my favorite tracks is actually the bonus track off of the first disc. He does very good. Or even If the Whole World is the Ville, I think that was amazing. I think there's very good conceptual songs that he really honed into what it means to be who he is. He's always been true to himself. He's always been very humble, and he's always tried to do his best to honor the people that made him who he is, while still acknowledging that he is who he is because of the actions that he's made alongside the failures that he's made. And I think J. Cole painting himself as not a perfect person, but somebody who's flawed and has seen through his flaws and continues to work through his flaws, makes him a very relatable person. And I think it was a great send-off. I don't know if we will ever see another feature of J. Cole or whatever. He was saying that the producing side of J. Cole, something that he wants to not top, is the fall off. And I think he may never top this because of how much effort and time it's gone into it. We did a roadmap on the channel. It was about like 6 to 8 years, anywhere along those lines. And I honestly think it was amazing how we got multiple tracks leaked from him where it was like, no, we need to drop The Middle Child, we need to drop The Lion King on Ice, we need to drop The Climb Back, we need to drop these certain tracks in order for the fans to understand that the off season leading off to the fall off is something that is going to be, you know, like he mentioned, the fall off is inevitable. So he wants to savor the moments, do as much as he can while he still has the relevance that he can. And I think it's amazing. He references a lot in the album how most of the people that he looked up to, when he got to the spots that they were in, he notices that it was quite vacant and that it was nothing like it was painted out to be. And I think that's something that social media a lot of times may flaunt and picture it into being a specific way. However, it may not be that exact thing when you get there, you know. So I think it is to each their own. Once they get there, when they make it, it is what they want to make out of it. And I think J. Cole being humble, remaining to his roots, paying homage to North Carolina, Fayetteville specifically, I thought it was amazing. I honestly, like I mentioned in my first couple days, or I think like a day or two, I gave it like around an 8.5. I've lived with it more. The song that I did mention I didn't like, I still don't like, which is Legacy. There's certain tracks where J. Cole kind of loses me due to his singing. Maybe he may have had an addition of somebody else who can sing, not better, but a different refrain or something along those lines. But yeah, I don't want to bore you guys off of it. I just want to say that It's a Boy is dropping soon. I ordered more vinyls. The delay on the channel is just because of a lot of stuff that's been going on. I just started my semester, so there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm very excited. Baby Keem just announced, like literally today in the morning, in about a week's time, there's going to be a new album of his, and Jack Harlow's releasing an album as well. There's a lot of stuff going on when it comes to rap, and I think 2026 has been shaping up to be a very great year for music, and I think just artists in general, you know. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, whether it be the World Cup, whether it be the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny's performance was amazing, you know, so there's just a lot of things that I'm very excited about for this year, and it's already February. We're 11 days into February. Who's to know that the rest of the 9-10 months that we have ahead of us aren't going to be great? So yeah, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys' time, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure you guys check out the other videos if you guys are so inclined. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. Deuces!